I'm Frank. Okay, I'm Frank from California Rare Fruit Growers, a 501c3 nonprofit. I'm actually in Mammoth because I also volunteer as a volunteer ski instructor for adaptive sports, and I didn't have time because I'm doing so much stuff. So I'm doing it now. Okay, talking about the different drill bits to use we're going over how to drill holes in plastic pots. This is not a good drill bit for that. This is not a good drill bit for that. This one's better, but these two other ones are better. If you can see the points. The one on this side doesn't have points on the edges of the spade bit. These are spade bits like this. This one here, like this. They make basically a washer when they cut the hole, and it makes it easier to make holes without damaging the bucket. Do not get the spade bits that have a thread here. They're higher end ones made to pull into wood and stuff, but every time you drill a hole, this washer of plastic gets stuck on there and you have to fight with it for some amount of time and then go to the next hole, whereas the other bits you can just keep going. Okay, I'm going to show drilling with each type. Also, the difference between pots can make a big difference in what you're doing later. Some plants aren't good to remove from the pot because the roots fall apart. It makes it hard to do it. Avocados are sensitive to root damage when you do that. So we have the thinner pots that we call sacrificial, where later you can cut the bottom off easier because it's a thinner material and you don't have to feel so bad about getting rid of the pot. These thicker ones, I don't know if you can see here when I push this, this is really flexible. These are stiffer, thicker pots. That's great for plants you're going to want to keep and you reusing the pot over and over. So the thinner ones are disposable. It'd be a lot harder to cut the thicker ones. So we're using a drill. It's not necessary to do the drill at high speed. That just burns plastic and gives a coating on your tools. So let's say I drill this hole with this. I'm drilling the hole. That one went okay, but it actually made a little bit lip area. Typically on these, what will happen is, on some of the pots, when you catch wrong, it'll actually tear the pot more. So it'll go through and it'll spiral, and the plastic will get stuck between these grooves, and then it'll rip the pot. So I tend not to use any of these. Plus, they're not available in big sizes, which you want the holes typically in. My favorite is between 9/16 and 5/8. If you get any bigger holes, soil is going to fall out of the hole more, and that's a hassle. So that's why I go with these, and I just do more holes if I need it. And if you set the pots on clay soil, remember to have a couple on the side because the clay can actually impede water from getting out of the pot. Okay, so this is the flat one with barely tips. I don't even count it as tips. But when I do it, okay, fought that one a little bit. Okay, this one, okay, it broke the pot more. You can see this way because it's making a whole area you're cutting thinner, and then it makes it more prone to tearing, which you want to minimize tearing when you're doing pots. And remember, this is the thin one. I've done over 1,000 pots drilling holes, so I can use pretty much anything to drill holes. Okay, sometimes I'll do it like this, get it to the edge. So see how I'm doing this? Drill a hole, take it forever. Okay. Okay. The other one, let's say, I'm just going to use this big one for now. I'll use this one. So, see how that was a lot faster. I push that too hard and fast, but most of the holes, pretty easy. This one here, that's just a thicker one, doing the same thing.
Okay, I promise I'll vote for you. Shit. Oh, demonstration.
The difference in the washer is like this. So I try to do it on a piece of plastic or a box so I catch all the shavings to throw them away. And then let's see if I play with this one here. Also, if you do end up drilling with a larger bit, you want to deburr the hole. I still don't like these. They're way too small. You know. And to get the bigger bits that actually fit on this is more pricey, and also probably harder on your drill because they're heavier metal spinning. But I'll do the big one anyway. And I don't use heat to make holes because you end up burning plastic onto the tool, and then it creates an insulation, and then it doesn't become very effective over time. So there's a hole there, and another hole, you know. But you can get a burr on the edge if you get bigger holes. So again, thin pots considered disposable. So what I recommend when you do use this pot is I'll take a piece of t-shirt-like material, and it's going to become a strap to lower the pot into the ground after I cut the hole. So I want t-shirt material because it's smooth and it'll be easy to pull out. Do not use a towel. Okay, so lay the t-shirt material, making sure it's long enough that it can hold the pot and into the ground. Then put the pot on it and cut the pot. Then move it over so now it's on the strap in the middle, and then use it when you lower it into the ground. Prior to lowering it into the ground, make sure you score the side or cut it a little bit, so that way it's easy to snap off and remove from the ground. And then when you put the soil in, try to pack it in from the sides. Like if your hole's this big, here it is, push the pressure on the outer edge, not toward the roots. This way when you push the outer edge, it'll push it in with less interaction to damage roots. And that'll make the plants be more successful. Also, it's not recommended to amend the soil when you plant something in the ground. So use the native soil, don't add compost or whatever into that. You can put compost on the top as long as you're not pushing it against the trunk of the plant. That'll cause rot. Also, do not plant blueberries in the ground because in our soils they will die within about 2 to 3 years and not produce much of anything. I recommend peat moss. Some people use peat moss, and some pumice or perlite and some sand. Just depends on how you want to do it. We put them in 15-gallon pots when we plant blueberries. That way it'll grow, and we have ones in my yard that are 6 to 8 feet tall. Okay? That's it. See you guys.